Hi, this is Jim, and I'd like to take a moment to talk a little bit about the Molinelli video that I shared a few days ago. First of all, I want to say thank you to the people who've given me some feedback, most especially Chris Holzman, who's been my mentor in things Radialian for a long time now, but also to Sean Mueller, a colleague of mine, originally here in Oregon, but now taking the show on the road into Michigan, and a gentleman I know by name and repute, but haven't met yet, Sean Newton. Thank you, all three of you, for your feedback. It's very helpful. Second, I'd like to talk about why it's important to talk about that feedback and why I'm bothering to do so. I don't make a lot of videos, less out of interest than it is out of not thinking to do it. I'm also not very good at it. I'm using my phone at the moment, and if you've watched much of anything I've filmed, the most impressive thing is the truly dismal sound quality. So, apologies for that. I'm working on it. This is not my best medium, so I normally write, and so to do video is not my forte. However, I think for certain things it's very useful, and the Molinelli especially are better seen and performed than they are read about. One of the things that comes up with this feedback that I thought was valuable and might be of use to other people is the awareness of our own bias in learning and interpretation. So one of the things that popped out to me, for example, one of the things that Chris Holzman had pointed out was that my guard of second was not quite what Del Frate, for example, had outlined. And he's right. And just to show you, so right here, I'll try to get this so that it's easier to see. I had the plates from Del Frate's book blown up because I thought it would be much more useful for students to see them, but it's a little cumbersome. So, can't read it because I don't have my glasses. So this guy, oops, just a sec. Seriously, I should have practiced this. So this chap here, this is the guard of second. Okay, very extended arm, straight out from the shoulder. And then if you look to this one, that's the parry of second. It's far more retracted. And he's, obviously he's parrying some manner of blow there. They are different things. Invitations, guards, parries, while related, serve different functions. And in the case of the second that I learned, our guard was an invitation. So that's a critical difference. So my master, or at least the master I learned this from, is a guy named Al Couturier. Sadly passed on after many, many, many decades of fencing. He was one of those older people that if you see them fencing, you should be afraid of because they're still fencing. Wonderful human being, and his coaches were also fantastic. I spent a lot of time working with Larry Dunn, for example, and learned quite a bit. So our second was different. Our second was a bit more crooked in the arm and pointed at the right hip. So what does that do? Well, I can't demonstrate it super well here, but assuming this pencil is my saber, I've got this arm straight, but there's a bend here. It's still elbow high, but my point is pointing at the hip of my opponent. What does that set up? It sets up an open line here. Well, the parry from second to fifth is super quick and sets up a really nice Molinelli from there. That's why we did it, because we were in a sporting context. We wanted the person to attack there so that we could, go after them. It also set up good attacks for us, since we still used a lot of thrusting. Despite electric kind of killing all that, we did a lot of it back in the day. So that's kind of where that comes from. But of course, that's different than what Del Frate and a lot of the other masters were showing. If you look at Pecoraro and Piscina from 1912, you'll see that same very straight guard. And it's true of third and fourth, too. The modern third and fourth, even what I call the Hungarian third and fourth, is what the Italians would call low third and low fourth. Third and fourth are much more extended in Radialian tradition, and there are very solid reasons for that. Their context was different. It's a military context primarily, and a dueling context, at least for officers, beyond that. So that guard is sort of the ultimate in stay the hell away from me. It's straight out, right at your chest. You got to get through this to get to me. So that's less of an invitation than a, watch it. It's not a come at me bro parry. It's a F off, bro, Perry. So, or guard, pardon me. But again, that confusion. So in my interpretation, when I went into the guard a second, I'm using the second I learned, not the second from the text. But I didn't think about it. It's just second. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. And the next iteration, I'll try to be much more faithful to the literary group rather than, say, a descendant school. The other thing that came up was the wristiness of my cuts, and that's a fair complaint. I noticed some of that too. And there are various reasons for that. Number one, again, not really seeing it myself. I teach it all the time, so it's easy to correct in students in a way that I don't have somebody correcting me all the time. I wish I had the opportunity to take more lessons. Locally, there's really only one person I could go to, and he's 2 hours south of me, that has any familiarity with this. So, this feedback is especially valuable to me because I don't have a master to work with right now. And the other thing that's important, I think, sort of on the bigger scale, is owning our interpretations in the sense of being responsible for them. So here I am on this public forum sharing this information and us to try to help people. But it's important I get it right. And so if I don't get it right, or if I can get it more right, then I have a responsibility to do that. And it's important to me, both as a fencer and as a coach, to do that. And so rather than hide from that feedback or prevent it by turning off comments, I invite it because it could make me better. It can make me a better teacher. And since my goal is to share this and help preserve this cultural legacy, the more accurately, the better I do that, the better. So to that end, I plan to remake the videos with the corrections I've got and going to see what happens from there. As always, I'm very happy to talk about these things. So, if you have a comment or a question, you can either put it in the comments or you can email me if you have that. And ever forward. So, thanks again to everyone who provided the feedback and who shared it. And we'll see how the next one goes.